like, bro, yeah, she got a kid. Look at his back. Oh my god. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another reaction, another Thomas Sowell reaction. This is why diversity doesn't work. Yeah.
This is why.
I guess there is a reason. A lot of different cultures mashing against each other. You got a lot of different ways of living.
That's why, like, in other countries, there's so many wars within the country. I mean, I said country.
It depends on
continents.
It depends on the region. Like, you see places like Europe, they tend to be a lot more stable because you got a lot of the same people living in one country.
Like in that
obviously Africa, because Africa is a shit show. Because after
it's like there's too many cultures to just even like name off the top of head.
That's Europeans' fault. After the European powers pulled out of Africa, they just drew random borders and shit. They didn't even think about what ethnic groups was here or were here or
they started teaching languages,
or who would have had the power distributed to who. You got all these thousands of ethnic groups that are mingling with each other. That's why you see so many wars and genocide. You get the Rwandan genocide and shit going on. What's not going on anymore, but you know, that was like World War II in Africa. But yeah, y'all messing with these Thomas Sowell reactions. I just noticed that one of our older videos has been blowing up. That Thomas Sowell, I think, was discussing slavery. Last time I checked, it was like around 13,000 views. And I really appreciate that. So anybody who enjoyed these reactions, let us know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share, man. We'll hop right in.
All on diversity. Quote, if there is any place in the Guinness Book of World Records for words repeated the most often over the most years without one speck of evidence, diversity should be a prime candidate. Is diversity our strength or anybody's strength anywhere in the world? It has not been our diversity, but our ability to overcome the problems inherent in diversity and to act together as Americans that has been our strength. Again, how did diversity come to be this kind of totem in society?
Is he all right?
Oh, it's applying the propaganda principles of the Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels, who said that, you know, people will believe any lie if it's big enough and told often enough and loud enough. And this lie has been told. If you look at, see, diversity is really another name of what used to be called balkanization. And they had to get rid of that because if you looked at the Balkans, you would see that the horrors that have gone on there have outstripped anything that's ever happened in the United States. Back in the 1970s, when I was running a research project in Washington on American ethnic, a Yugoslav scholar came by to visit me, and he said, "You think blacks and whites in America have a problem? The problems of blacks and whites in America is nothing compared to the problem of Serbs and Croats in Yugoslavia. And if you read the horrors that have occurred there, I'll just mention one: throwing people's babies in the air and catching them on bayonets and forcing the parents to watch it while it happens. I mean, we have not reached that point yet, even though we are headed in that direction. Diversity is not their strength. The ability to deal with the problems of diversity, that is our strength.
Right.
Or was.
At the same time you're getting all this melding of diversity, there's an extremely narrow ideological conformity that's being enforced. So we have diversity in the way people look, the ethnic groups or from which they come, the parts of the country from which they come. But once you arrive, you better start thinking the way we do.
Yes. I still get emails from students, you know, saying that, you know, when they raise any issues that go against the professor's ideology, they just get ridiculed.
And let's say you're on the admissions committee at Harvard, and you're going to choose so many people. You're going to let people in for a variety of reasons. One is sheer academic merit. They scored 1,600 on their college boards. That's a good entry. They've got a brilliant academic and athletic background, and they happen to be a virtuoso violin player. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And the violin player helps.
Yeah.
Or let's say they come from Nevada, and they don't have a lot of Nevada at Harvard. And let's also say that they come from Sri Lanka. They don't have many people from Sri Lanka there. And let's also say that they also are African American. And that ought to be a factor in choosing from that pool. Maybe that's one of the considerations.
Because what?
because diversity of a student body is a healthy factor.
I'm fascinated with the extent to which words, we're conditioned to react like Pavlov's dog to words. I hear diversity. Someone was asking.
Don't make me look bad, Professor.
Someone today who was a trustee of a college was saying that they were going to pick a new college professor. I said, what you should do is have a stopwatch there and just count how long it is till each of the contestants says the word diversity. And the guy who says it, he's 35 minutes into the interview, and the other guy who says it, the first sentence, the guy who takes 35 minutes, he should be at the top of the list. The guy who said it in the first sentence should be at the bottom. Because the question
what's wrong with diversity? I don't get the point.
My point is that this is a word that has become magic. What does it mean, if anything? Are you saying to me that all black people are alike, therefore you've got to mix and match by race? It's not diverse unless it's diverse along these dimensions?
I'll tell you what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think that it would be different to have people of different kinds of experiences. And we mentioned Sri Lanka, didn't we? And it'd be interesting to have some people with an Asian background. Wait, an Asian background, African American, people that come from Fifth Avenue and Park Avenue, as well as from Henderson, North Carolina. All of that would make a healthy student body.
You mean to tell me?
I don't think everybody ought to come from the sons of Harvard graduates.
All right.
Or daughters.
Mainly because they're not always the best students.
No, that's right.
But all right. That argument, I think that doesn't make it. I slipped my point there for a minute.
Well, I mean, you have thought long and hard about this, and much longer than I have, and you bring to bear
wait.
Much
But
more
that's the theory.
powerful
That's the theory.
analytical
Unfortunately, the facts are quite different. In places like Harvard and Stanford and
Right.
Cornell,
Duke.
what you have is the black son of the black doctor,
Right.
who lived in the same
Right.
neighborhood
Right.
with the white son of the white doctor.
Right. No,
and now you're
That's
doing
still a long
diversity
time.
because these two people,
Well,
not
but
in
that's not,
Winnetka or someplace.
not necessarily. They have scholarships that they offer to kids who are not the son of
But now we're getting away from the whole racial thing. I'm saying the racial thing has been used as a proxy for something that is not a proxy for, because the vast majority of blacks who go to places like Harvard and Cornell and Stanford are not blacks from the ghetto. Those are blacks from out there. They're from Malibu. They're from Pacific Palisades. They're from Winnetka and so forth. And they're from the very same neighborhoods. They're from the very same neighborhoods as the whites are there. And so now you call it diversity because you see something with the naked eye.
Well, explain why multiculturalism, if you would, is bad.
I guess it starts from a false premise, which is that there's something that all cultures are equal in some undefinable sense, which has never been the case. I mean, some cultures are better at some things, worse at other things, and at particular times in history, one group's culture may be ascendant, and another time another group's. But what you almost never see is what they assume is a norm, namely all groups performing pretty much the same in all kinds of fields across the board. That you can go through centuries of history without finding a single example of that.
You say that assumption, in fact, holds different groups down. You write, quote, multiculturalism, like the caste system, paints people into the corner where they happen to have been born, but at least the caste system doesn't claim to benefit those at the bottom.
Yeah, I can see what he's saying, man. Like, you see these people, like, in these schools, it's like, just because they're black doesn't mean, like, they've been through the same struggles as other black people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go to college. I seen when I was at college, like, you'll see people with money and other people with, like, you mean poor or something, and it's just like they get collected into this group. Or it's just like
that's what they tend to do with black people in general. It's that word diversity is nothing but a euphemism. It's just a word to try to break down a very very complicated group of people and try to break it down into one word thing. Like the black culture. What is the black culture? Like we got a lot of different people in a lot of different places that don't derive from this prescribed black culture.
Yeah.
I mean, and the people is just like, is the black culture the degradation of the family, the degradation of self through our music, through the actions in the neighborhood. I mean, because if you look at black culture and you see it being propagated around the world, what do people rap about? They're not rapping about harmony and fucking going out on picnics with their family. They're rapping about shooting up their grandma's house and shit.
Yeah, shooting
like,
up somebody's mom's house.
like
killing their babies.
It's like
fucking their baby's mom. Like what?
These niggas literally getting like he killed his cousin yesterday. Now you're rapping about it today. What? It's like what?
Man, I just think like using like diversity, it got to be used in the right way, because it's just like, especially like when they was talking about like going to schools and stuff, it's like having people on that campus. I'm like, it's like they come from different backgrounds. I mean, being black, like there's always struggles, like somehow, but like he was saying, like there's people from Malibu, maybe like from upscale like neighborhoods and stuff, and it's like there's like a whole different culture change.
People just need to be logical, realistic. They need to understand the time they're living in. They need to understand what's going to work, what type of things, what kind of aspects you can kind of derive from other people that you can use upon yourself in order to thrive. It's like whenever you hear your mom changing her voice whenever she's talking to someone for an interview. Is she talking white? Because that's what I hear a lot of people say, like, "Oh, your mom got that white voice." You ever hear your mom's white voice? The fuck is a white voice?
White voice, yeah.
White voice educational.
It's like a professional voice.
It's like professional isn't white. It's just.
Yeah, it's a bad. There's a lot of like stigmas, like a lot of like bad like things like in the black community, where it's just like seen as like white, and it's like seen like you do something and it's like bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is crazy. The white
Absolutely. So the multiculturalists say, for example, that the schools should not try to make black students speak standard English. The difference between speaking standard English and not speaking standard English can be huge in terms of your job, your careers, and all sorts of other things.
The key word among advocates of multiculturalism became diversity.
Yes.
Sweeping claims for the benefits of demographic and cultural diversity have prevailed without a speck of evidence being asked for or given. Name a few institutions in which diversity is championed without evidence.
Gosh, the question would be, name one way where that isn't the case. I would say the whole Ivy League, Stanford, Berkeley.
Corporate America?
Yes. It's really miraculous almost. I mean, I can't think of a word that has gained such widespread use and which is utterly unchallenged without one speck of evidence. If you look at societies that are diverse, they have all they can do to avoid mutual bloodshed. I mean, India, for example, is very diverse. And you know,
barely coheres as a nation.
That's right. When India was given its freedom by Britain and split into India and Pakistan, I mean, the number of people slaughtered between Hindus and Muslims ran into the hundreds of thousands.
But it's just pretty wild how like we just get lumped together. Like, yeah, we're all people. You know what I mean? I've got no problem saying like I'm the same as like, because we're black at the end of the day. We gotta stick together. But at the same time, people don't realize that we are really separate, like in our own country, with some like us that are the same color.
Look, a lot of people's thinking is very much attached to their quality of life, the way they were brought up, what morality they have, you know, what kind of values they were taught through their culture or through their parents and things like that. So you're going to see a lot of those clash, and whenever you decide to interact with other people. So it's just never a green. It's never a gray slate.
It's never just clean cut.
Yeah, we don't always get each other, but just being able to understand, you know, where you are, what things work and what won't work, and what strengths you're going to have that you will need to adapt to yourself in order to thrive in the world. That's just what it's going to take. You know what I mean? That's just how.
This is the world we live in.
Yeah. But if you want to see more Thomas Sowell, you let us know down in the comments. We can do some more videos of him. Make sure that like button, subscribe, and share. We're going to see you next time. Peace.